Brothers and sisters, to increase your iman, read the miracle, recite the Qur'an. Recite it every day and do read it loud. The verses of Qur'an are all Muslims' pride. This miracle was revealed over a long time span, sent from Allah to an angel, then to a man. That man was Muhammad, the best of creation.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. All praise due to Allah alone. We praise Him and we seek His help. Whomsoever Allah guides is the truly guided one, and whomsoever Allah leaves astray, none can show him guidance. May the best peace and blessings be upon Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Dear brothers and sisters, my dear viewers everywhere, welcome to another live edition of your program, Correct Your Recitation. I'd like also to welcome our studio guests here, Sheikh Abdul Khaliq and Hassan and Muhammad and Abdul Rahman. Thank you so much for joining us, as well as our guests on our Facebook page that are watching us live today. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to all of you. Inshallah, by Allah's grace, today we'll resume the recitation and the explanation of some of the marvelous verses of Surat Ash-Shoora. Ash-Shoora means a mutual consultation. It is chapter number 42 of the Qur'an. It is a Makki surah. Today, inshallah, we shall begin from verse number 37, which will begin the traits of the true believers who truly put their trust in Allah the Almighty, all the way to verse number 44. So it is not really much of ayat to recite, but they are very rich of beautiful meanings. Without any further ado, I'm going to kindly request Sheikh Abdul Khaliq to recite from ayah number 37, please. وَالَّذِينَ يَجْتَنِبُونَ كَبَائِرَ الْإِثْمِ.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. والذين يجتنبون كبائر الإثم والفواحش وإذا ما غضبوا هم يغفرون. والذين استجابوا لربهم وأقاموا الصلاة وأمرهم شورى بينهم ومما رزقناهم ينفقون. والذين إذا أصابهم البغي هم ينتصرون. وجزاء سيئة سيئة مثلها، فمن عفا وأصلح فأجره على الله.
الله.
إنه لا يحب الظالمين. ولمن انتصر بعد ظلمه فأولئك ما عليهم من سبيل. إنما السبيل على الذين يظلمون الناس. إنما السبيل على الذين يظلمون الناس ويبغون في الأرض بغير الحق أولئك لهم عذاب أليم ولمن صبر وغفر إن ذلك لمن عزم الأمور ومن يضلل الله فما له من ولي من بعده وترى الظالمين لما رأوا العذاب يقولون هل إلى مرد من سبيل.
بارك الله فيك. جزاك الله خيرا. May Allah bless Sheikh Abdul Khaliq. Beautiful recitation, mashallah. So brothers and sisters, we have just listened to beautiful ayat beginning from ayah number 37 through ayah number 44. And in these ayat, Allah the Almighty is describing the traits of الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَلَى رَبِّهِمْ يَتَوَكَّلُونَ. So he mentioned that الدار الآخرة and وَمَا عِنْدَ اللَّهِ خَيْرٌ وَأَبْقَى. Whatever Allah the Almighty preserved with Him and have been preparing and saving for the believers is better and everlasting for those who believe and they truly put their trust in Allah the Almighty. May Allah make us amongst them. And we normally say that it is easy said than done. And that's why normally whenever Allah the Almighty promises a particular reward for certain type of the believers, He mentions their traits so that the believers would try to adopt whatever traits Allah the Almighty have admired. And He would warn against certain other traits so that the believers also will try to avoid whatever Allah the Almighty have warned against. For instance, here we have discussed before, the first trait is the avoid the major sins. And we spoke about the quality of avoiding major sins would inherit the person forgiveness for his minor sins. إن تجتنبوا كبائر ما تنهون عنه نكفر عنكم سيئاتكم وندخلكم مدخلا كريما. Surat An-Nisa. Simply for avoiding the major sins, Allah the Almighty promises, we will remit your sins, will forgive you your minor sins. نكفر عنكم سيئاتكم, and will admit you into a noble entry, which is paradise. The second quality, أقاموا الصلاة, established the prayer. We discussed the meaning of إقامة الصلاة. It is not simply to pray, rather is to establish the prayer properly, to fulfill its proper tahara, its proper standing, khushu', bowing down and sujood, and to offer even the nawafil in order to make up for any shortcoming that may have happened in the prayer. وَأَمْرُهُمْ شُورَى بَيْنَهُمْ. Ash-Shoora is basic Islamic pivot, which is to consult one another concerning our affairs. And there is another reference in Surat Al-Imran. Allah the Almighty commanded the Prophet ﷺ in ayah number 159, chapter number 3, Surat Al-Imran. He said, وَشَاوِرْهُمْ فِي الْأَمْرِ فَاعْفُ عَنْهُمْ وَاسْتَغْفِرْ لَهُمْ وَشَاوِرْهُمْ فِي الْأَمْرِ. Even though the Prophet ﷺ receives the wahy from Allah the Almighty, he doesn't need to hear from no one else. But Allah the Almighty commanded him, وَشَاوِرْهُمْ فِي الْأَمْرِ. Consult your companions in the affair. Consult them. And this command came after he actually consulted them prior to the Battle of Uhud. And their consultation led to this devastation. It wasn't his wish to go outside the Medina in order to confront the Meccans. He wished that he would stay in Al-Madinah, wait for them to ambush them in Al-Madinah. But the youth were very anxious and were very enthusiastic, and they wanted to go out and he wanted to fight. So the Prophet ﷺ went with the opinion of the vast majority. وَشَاوِرْهُمْ فِي الْأَمْرِ. So it doesn't mean that because their mashura one day wasn't really the best, to quit and to rely always on a single view and say, this is it. My opinion or my way or the highway. No. Even if you are the commander of chief, even if you are the greatest leader on earth, even if you're Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, you should consult your companions. You should consult your followers. And the consultation, normally you do not consult anyone. You consult those who have an experience, the experts. You consult those who are in charge. You consult those, the knowledgeable ones. Okay. وَشَاوِرْهُمْ فِي الْأَمْرِ. That was a command in 159, confirming the quality of the believers whom Allah the Almighty promised a better and everlasting return in paradise. He said, وَأَمْرُهُمْ شُورَى بَيْنَهُمْ وَمِمَّا رَزَقْنَاهُم يُنْفِقُونَ. And they spend out of what we provided for them. This meaning is very important, brothers and sisters. Each and every one of us must perfectly understand that whatever we have is a gift from Allah, and He entrusted us with it. أنفقوا مما جعلكم مستخلفين فيه. This is an amana with you. Whether it is hundreds, thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions, billions, you name it. It is an amana. And Allah the Almighty made you a khalifa to look after that. So, whenever you spend, أنفقوا مما جعلكم مستخلفين فيه, and here ومما رزقناهم ينفقون. And they spend in a charity out of what we provided them with. The next quality, and that will be the seventh, والذين
إذا أصابهم
wait a minute. نعم. وَالَّذِينَ إِذَا أَصَابَهُمُ الْبَغْيُ هُمْ يَنْتَصِرُونَ. I just wanted to refer to something before this ayah, which is وَالَّذِينَ اسْتَجَابُوا لِرَبِّهِمْ. Those who responded to the call of the Lord. It was said that the reason of the revelation of this ayah, it was revealed concerning Al-Ansar. May Allah be pleased with them, the supporters, the rulers of Al-Madinah. الَّذِينَ تَبَوَّأُوا الدَّارَ وَالْإِيمَانَ من قبلهم, in Surat Al-Hashr. So Allah the Almighty admired them, and He said استجابوا لربهم, because once the Prophet ﷺ invited them to believe in Allah, they responded and they accepted faith, and they immediately started fulfilling the duties of their deen. So when we say استجابوا لربهم, according to the reason of the revelation, it refers to Al-Ansar. May Allah be pleased with them. The last, which will be the seventh and the last quality of الذين آمنوا على ربهم يتوكلون, is الذين إذا أصابهم البغي هم ينتصرون. Those whom whenever they are wronged or suffer an oppression, they take revenge. But wait a minute. We were taught in other verses to pardon, to forgive, to be merciful, and Allah admires those who pardon and forgive. That's absolutely true. And that's why if you flip the page, if you scroll down a little bit, you will find in ayah number 43, Allah the Almighty says, وَلَمَنْ صَبَرَ وَغَفَرَ إِنَّ ذَلِكَ لَمِنْ عَزْمِ الْأُمُورِ. So He admires those who are patient and those who pardon. They are being wronged, they are being oppressed, but they do not take revenge. So what is the meaning of that? These ayat are keeping balance, because some people take advantage of innocent people, take advantage of their nice nature. So whenever a thief is caught once, and he say, وَلَمَنْ صَبَرَ وَغَفَرَ إِنَّ ذَلِكَ لَمِنْ عَزْمِ الْأُمُورِ, I forgive you, go, no problem. Somebody is using his muscles and he's oppressing people, a highway robber, and he's caught, and he say, I forgive him. Somebody has committed a murder, and you remember, وَلَمَنْ صَبَرَ وَغَفَرَ إِنَّ ذَلِكَ لَمِنْ عَزْمِ الْأُمُورِ, I forgive you. And the guardian will forgive the murderer who murdered his son, who murdered his father, who murdered his brother, because of the quality of being patient and forgiveness. But keeping balance is very important. يعني, in Surah Al-Nahl, chapter number 16, verse number 126, Allah the Almighty says, وَإِنْ عَاقَبْتُمْ فَعَاقِبُوا بِمِثْلِ مَا عُوقِبْتُمْ بِهِ. Whenever you punish back, Whenever you take revenge, punish with a punishment equivalent to the crime or the oppression or the aggression that happened against you. Allah the Almighty also said, مَنْ جَاءَ بِالسَّيِّئَةِ فَلَا يُجْزَى إِلَّا مِثْلَهَا. Chapter Al-An'am, the Cattle, chapter number 6, verse number 160. These ayat, brothers and sisters, are talking about a beautiful system in Sharia and Islamic law, which was also in the Torah, in Judaism, which is the equality in punishment. وَلَكُمْ فِي الْقِصَاصِ حَيَاةٌ يَا أُولِي الْأَلْبَابِ. Al-Qasas or Al-Qisas means equality in punishment. When somebody takes the life of an innocent person, there is an equality of punishment. You took the life of an innocent person, even if you were forced to do that, because your life is not more valuable than anybody else's life. So the punishment is a capital punishment, because you deliberately aggressed against the life of another innocent person. In Surat Al-Baqarah, chapter number 2, verse number 194, Allah the Almighty says, وَالْحُرُمَاتُ قِصَاص. وَالْحُرُمَاتُ قِصَاص. Not only the life and taking the life of an innocent person. وَكَتَبْنَا عَلَيْهِمْ فِيهَا أَنَّ النَّفْسَ بِالنَّفْسِ. النَّفْسُ بِالنَّفْسِ means the capital punishment is for one who deliberately takes the soul or the life of an innocent person. And that is the meaning of وَلَكُمْ فِي الْقِصَاصِ حَيَاء. Whenever you practice al-qasas, which is the equality of punishment, what will happen? A murderer, before thinking about taking the life of an innocent person, will think so many times, and by the end he would say, nah, it's not worth it. I know that I hate that man so much, but guess what? If I take his life, I'm going to pay my life. If I'm caught, I will pay my life. That's called equality in punishment. So that's why Allah said, in practicing and applying al-qasas, there is life. It saves lives. How many lives would be taken when you apply that divine law? 3, 4, 5. Then whenever it is announced, somebody had been executed by court, by law, not by individuals though. Why? Because he was involved in a murder. Or 2 or 3 or 4 people who assisted each other in taking the life of an innocent person. And they were all ruled out, the verdict, they were sentenced to death. All of them. Why? Because he cooperated in taking the life of an innocent person. And Allah the Almighty says that Allah the Almighty in Surat Al-Ma'idah stated, من أجل ذلك كتبنا على بني إسرائيل أنه من قتل نفسا بغير نفس أو فساد في الأرض فكأنما قتل الناس جميعا. Look, taking the life of an innocent person is not just taking a single life. Taking the life of an innocent person is not taking a single life. It is similar to taking the life and killing all human beings. And similarly, if you save the life of a single innocent human being, the reward for it is the reward of saving the lives of all human beings. This is how much valuable and honorable life is. Okay, whether this person is a believer or a non-believer, there is justice. Okay, taking the lives without any justification, it is not a war on the battlefield, nor is it a decision of court, rather on your own. You just differ with somebody, you pull out your gun, 9mm, you pull the trigger, and you shoot somebody. Why? Because you got a gun. Because you know how to use a gun, or because you have a very short temper, you pay for it. When people of similar nature, they know that, if I pull the trigger, it will cost me my life. I will miss my family. I will miss my children. I will miss everything in life, in addition to the awaiting punishment in the hereafter. So I would rather not even possess a gun. Why? Because once you possess a gun, there is a possibility that you may carry it, you may conceal it, you may, whenever you get angry, you know yourself, you lose your temper fast, you can simply pull the trigger. You can kill an innocent person. Yesterday, and after the program, I got a question which broke my heart. One sister said that her husband got caught in gunfire and he got killed by accident. I mean, the murderer intended to kill his colleague, not her husband. But he missed it, and he shot her husband. He died instantly. The bullet went through his head, and he died right on the spot. That's a deliberate killing, by the way, because he wanted to kill somebody else. Okay? And he was determined to kill somebody else. Somebody was trying to defend him, so the bullet went through his head. She was asking me now, the person is on the run, and he is hiding. If he's caught, and if his family is offering blood money, or if he is being punished, even in their country, I don't know which country is it, with a capital punishment, if he's sentenced to death, I have a question. Would that waive the punishment of the hereafter for him? And my husband would not have any right to ask him for revenge on the day of judgment anymore? That's a very interesting and important question. Why is it interesting? Because sometimes, you know, when the guardian of the murdered person, because the case may take a couple years or so, so after a while, this person and that person may talk to the guardian of the person who got killed and beg him for mercy or offer the blood money and say, what would you take if you kill him? It will not benefit you and art, and he has a family and he has kids and all of that. So he may say, I pardon him for the sake of Allah. So if he does pardon and also forgives and he doesn't want any blood money, the person is pardoned with regards to one right. Because when a murderer takes the life of an innocent person, he has violated three rights. The right of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which is the greatest. And this, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the ayah, وَالْحُرُمَاتُ قُصَاص. And the second right is the right of the family of the murdered person, particularly his guardian. And the third right is the right of the one who have been killed, the murdered person himself. So if he repents sincerely and he cries for committing the sin and he begs Allah for forgiveness, and his forgiveness and his repentance is sincere, he's forgiven. So Allah's right, Allah will waive it. And if his murdered person, if the family of the murdered person either accept the blood money, or if they forgive and pardon, or even if they do not forgive and the capital punishment, which is, you know, if he's executed as a result, that will waive the right of the family of the murdered one. It remains for us one right, which is the right of the murdered person. You deprived him from his children, you deprived him from his wife, from his parents, from life itself. Even if his family pardon and forgive, what about him? So the only right which will be suspended until the day of judgment is the right of the murdered person. If the killer repented sincerely, and that happens, in this case, Allah the Almighty on the day of judgment would please the murdered person and will reward them enough to make him pardon the murderer, only if the murderer was sincere in his repentance. Why am I saying that? Because we know that Allah the Almighty says that He forgives all sins other than shirk. And as long as the person does not die in a state of disbelief or while associating others with Allah in worship. And we also know that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam have informed us about a man from the nations before us, from the Israelites, who have killed 100 people, yet he was forgiven because he sought forgiveness. And brothers and sisters, I remember a few years ago when I was working as a chaplain in the prison in the United States, and I was sitting with the inmates in the prison in a maximum security unit. I do not normally investigate. I do not put my nose in anybody's business when I'm giving a lecture and say, what was your crime? Why were you incarcerated? No. And once I was talking about repentance and the murderer who was forgiven and asking Allah to pardon you and the family of the murdered person to forgive you and all of that in order to be forgiven. Then I saw somebody next to me, and this person was really muscular and he was covered with tattoo all over. He was so muscular that his arm was as big as me. I was much skinnier than that. Then I saw him in tears and said, I don't know if God will ever forgive me. He's a serial killer. He has killed many people. He's an American citizen. He was not Muslim. And he has killed many people. And he ended up being incarcerated. And now he was, when you see him crying the way I saw him, you can figure out that now after accepting Islam, he truly and sincerely repented to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So even if you are a family member of the murdered person, you would feel pity for him and say, I forgive you. So if the person is sincere in his tawbah, Allah the Almighty will accept it and will compensate those who have been wronged by him. It's entirely up to him, but we cannot be certain and say that the right of the murdered person will be waived. It's entirely up to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So we say these ayat keep balance. There are some people whom you recommended to pardon. I'm a little taller than Hassan. So if Hassan hit me, I'm capable not to only hit him several times. So if I pardon him, that is recommended. I would never hit you, of course. Nor hurt you, alhamdulillah, shukla, nor anybody else. But I'm just giving an example. So it is recommended because I have power and strength that I can take revenge. Mistah, who have been involved in the slander of Aisha radiallahu anha, when Abu Bakr as-Siddiq decided to stop his fund to him, Allah the Almighty recommended to Abu Bakr to resume the fund, and he happily did. أَلَا تُحِبُّونَ أَنْ يَغْفِرَ اللَّهُ لَكُمْ Bala. Won't you like Allah to forgive your sins? They said, certainly Allah, and immediately he resumed. I don't care, even though you insulted my daughter or you insulted me. But I want Allah to forgive me, so I will continue to give you. Because the person who hurt you is weaker than you, lesser than you. But when talking about nations, the Roman Empire at the time of the Prophet ﷺ, the king of Ghassan, have assassinated the messenger of the Prophet ﷺ. The Prophet ﷺ did not take it lightly. The messengers were given immunity. How dare you kill my messenger? Right away he sent an army. It was the battle of Mu'tah. And it was not it. Later on several armies have been sent. And the Roman Empire had been utterly defeated by Muslims. And they ran off, cowards like chicken. Why? They were threatening Muslims. The last year of the life of the Prophet ﷺ, they were threatening to attack Al-Madinah, to the point that Umar ibn Khattab said, every time I would hear a scream or some noise, I would think that the Romans have attacked already Al-Madinah. So the Prophet ﷺ said, why sit in fear? He prepared an army even though it was a year of drought. There was no rain, there was a great deal of poverty. That's why it was called Ghazwatul Usra, the battle of the hardship. He prepared an army and he marched forth to them in their homes. He went all the way to Tabuk. He traveled for 15 days, one day. And when they ran off and they fled, he stayed in Tabuk and the battlefield for 20 days, challenging the Roman Empire. And he was victorious and he collected plenty of war spoils on the way, peace be upon him. So it is recommended to be وَالَّذِينَ إِذَا أَصَابَهُمُ الْبَغْيُ هُمْ يَنْتَصِرُونَ. They take revenge because they show strength to the oppressors. But if the person have done that to you by mistake or he is weaker than you, then it is recommended to do وَلَمَنْ صَبَرَ وَغَفَرَ إِنَّ ذَلِكَ لَمِنْ عَزْمِ الْأُمُورِ. So this is how we keep balance between the ayat. And in the hadith, the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, it's a sound hadith collected by Imam Muslim, وَمَا زَادَ اللَّهُ عَبَدًا بِعَفْوٍ إِلَّا عِزًّا. Whenever you pardon somebody who have wronged you, is not a sign of weakness. Allah the Almighty will augment your honor, will make you more dignified. وَلَمَنْ صَبَرَ وَغَفَرَ إِنَّ ذَلِكَ لَمِنْ عَزْمِ الْأُمُورِ. But in the following ayah, ayah number 40, Allah the Almighty said, وَجَزَاءُ سَيِّئَةٍ سَيِّئَةٌ مِثْلُهَا فَمَنْ عَفَى وَأَصْلَحَ فَأَجْرُهُ عَلَى اللَّهِ إِنَّهُ لَا يُحِبُّ الظَّالِمِينَ. Yani in case that you decide to take revenge, then the recompense of an evil is an evil like thereof. وكتبنا عليهم فيها أن النفس بالنفس والعين بالعين والأنف بالأنف والأذن بالأذن والسن بالسن والجروح قصاص. That's not only in the Qur'an. This ayah is stating that what Allah the Almighty revealed to Moses, peace be upon him, in the Torah. We've ordained upon the children of Israel the qasas, equality in punishment law, sharia, which is soul for a soul, an eye for an eye, nose for a nose, an ear for an ear, a sin bis-sin, a tooth for a tooth. You break somebody's tooth deliberately, there is a punishment, which is he has a choice. I won't accept any penalty or compensation, financial compensation. I want his tooth. It's your right, so it will be broken. And if it is something like wounds, qasas, there will be the blood money in this case, which can be discussed later on, inshallah, because we ran out of time for the first segment. Brothers and sisters, inshallah, we'll take a short break and I'll be back in a few minutes. Please stay tuned.
Recite it every day and do read it loud.
Our guide is the Qur'an, our religion is Islam.
It's calling us to establish this hiwar, this dialogue between ourselves and between the non-Muslims, and to use hikmah. The waves are coming, you're trapped, fitna is coming everywhere. How can I get out of this fitna that I'm in? Send me the rope. Why did Allah send the Qur'an to you, to all of mankind? As a source of guidance, as a kitab, a blessed book to be reflected upon. And secondly, the ba'ath, the resurrection. Prepare yourself for Yawm al-Qiyamah, when you're going to stand in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is aqeedah, this is the core of aqeedah, this is the focus of the Qur'an. They want these dialects and these slangs to spread so the Arabs themselves can't even understand the Qur'an properly. This is a choice you have to make now. Because once the angel of death comes to you and takes your soul, there's no turning back, there's no other choice.
Base of the faith and the fast and the prayer, the pilgrimage and charity. Our guide is the Quran.
This is the deen, this is the deen show. This is the deen, this is the deen show. This is the deen show. This is the deen, this is the deen show.
So from that, I've really come to understand that to be a Muslim, to be someone who says they've surrendered and submitted to the will of God, is to be in harmony with everything around you and to be a benefit to everything.
Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, our Creator, He gave us a life plan. He told us what to do. He gave us, goals and what He expects from us.
It has roots in Islam because the first man who was created, Adam, he was neither a Jew or a Christian, but he submitted himself to God. Abraham, he didn't submit to anyone in creation. He didn't even hear in any of these religions. But when he was told to do what? Submit to the will of God, that's Islam.
Attached to his preconceived notions. Yes. And if he looks with an objective eye and an open heart, he'll see it. Unless Allah for some reason has something over his eyes because of something that we don't know is in his heart.
You had from 1980 to 2005, you had the FBI data report showing that now from all these years that only 6% had any links to Islam. 94% were people who had nothing to do with Islam.
One is the one who thinks he's a bad boy. He thinks he's a gangster. He thinks he's above everyone else. And deep down in his heart, and even times on his tongue, he makes it very clear that he doesn't have time for Allah. That he doesn't have time for this deen. That he doesn't have time for this religion and sunnah and do this and do that and this is haram and this is not allowed. And there's an attitude that comes along with it. That pride, that arrogance in the heart. You come to talk to the brother, he says, get out of here, man. Every time one of you grows a little bit of a beard, now he thinks he's a sheikh. Everyone wants to come and preach to me. Get out of here, man. I don't need this in my life. Let me do my thing. An attitude towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, like somewhat that he doesn't need Allah. And then there's the opposite too. There's the guy who, mashallah, he's been on deen for a couple of years. He starts believing in his heart, wallahi, we start believing that I'm something. We start looking down at others. We start believing that deep down in my heart, I stand a level above the rest. That I got a nice beard and this brother's clean shaven. That I've been praying for the last 10 years, this guy still doesn't know how to make wudu. So therefore, I'm better than him. And he starts believing also, it gets worse, he also starts believing that Allah Azza wa Jal needs him.
Recite it every day and do read it loud.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome back, brothers and sisters. Our phone numbers are code 002 then 0238 555 131 or 132. We already have a caller on the line, Sister Zahra from Sister Aisha from the case A. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Welcome to the program, Sister Aisha.
Jazakallah.
Okay, go ahead and recite from ayah number 37. وَالَّذِينَ اسْتَجَابُوا لِرَبِّهِمْ.
طيب. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم والذين استجابوا لربهم وأقاموا الصلاة وأمرهم شورى بينهم ومما رزقناهم ينفقون والذين إذا أصابهم البغي هم ينتصرون وجزاء سيئة سيئة مثلها فمن عفا وأصلح فأجره على الله إنه لا يحب الظالمين ولمن انتصر بعد ظلمه فأولئك ما عليهم من سبيل إنما السبيل على الذين يظلمون الناس ويبغون في الأرض بغير الحق أولئك لهم عذاب أليم ولمن صبر وغفر إن ذلك لمن عزم الأمور ومن يضلل الله فما له من ولي من بعده وترى الظالمين لما رأوا العذاب يقولون هل إلى مرد من سبيل.
حسبك Sister Aisha. Thank you so much. Jazakillahu khairan. Sister Sumaya from the Philippines.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Okay, we're reading today from ayah number 37, actually, وَالَّذِينَ يَجْتَنِبُونَ كَبَائِرَ الْإِثْمِ وَالْفَوَاحِشِ. From ayah number 37 through ayah number 44. Go ahead.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم والذين يجتنبون كبائر الإثم والفواحش وإذا ما غضبوا هم يغفرون والذين استجابوا لربهم وأقاموا الصلاة وأمرهم شورى بينهم ومما رزقناهم ينفقون والذين إذا أصابهم البغي هم ينتصرون وجزاء سيئة سيئة مثلها فمن عفا وأصلح فأجره على الله إنه لا يحب الظالمين ولمن انتصر بعد ظلمه فأولئك ما عليهم من سبيل إنما إنما السبيل على الذين يظلمون الناس ويبغون في الأرض بغير الحق أولئك لهم عذاب أليم ولمن صبر وغفر إن ذلك لمن عزم الأمور ومن يظلم الله فما له من ولي من بعده وترى الظالمين لما رأوا العذاب يقولون هل إلى مرد من سبيل.
بارك الله فيكي, Sister Sumaya from the Philippines. May Allah bless you and your family. Okay, I will have a talk with you in a little bit after we take this call, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum, Sister Zahra from Nigeria.
Wa alaikum assalam.
Welcome to the program. Go ahead and recite from ayah number 37, وَالَّذِينَ يَجْتَنِبُونَ.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. والذين يجتنبون كبائر الإثم والفواحش وإذا ما غضبوا هم يغفرون والذين استجابوا لربهم وأقاموا الصلاة وأمرهم شورى بينهم ومن
Sister Zahra, MashaAllah, la quwwata illa billah. I guess you're competing with Abdul Rahman now. MashaAllah, barakallahu fiki. Please try again. We're enjoying your recitation even though there is no sound effect whatsoever. MashaAllah. Sister Zahra is calling from Nigeria. Barakallahu fiki. Want to look into this ayat again? And I hope Sister Sumaya from the Philippines is following me too. So when we look into ayah number 37, وَالَّذِينَ يَجْتَنِبُونَ, you see the difference between the two pronunciations. When you say وَالَّذِينَ يَجْتَنِبُونَ, you killed the letter Jim. What do you mean you killed it? Was it living? Yeah, when you apply the proper characteristics, when you apply for the letter Jim because it has the vowel sukoon, so you must shake the letter Jim like that. وَالَّذِينَ يَجْتَنِبُونَ. So shaking the letter Jim keeps it alive. Given each letter while reciting the Qur'an, its rights and due characteristics keeps the letter alive. وَالَّذِينَ يَجْتَنِبُونَ. Similarly, in ayah number 40, there is another letter Jim. فَمَنْ عَفَا وَأَصْلَحَ فَأَجْرُهُ عَلَى اللَّهِ. فَأَجْرُهُ. Why? Because the letter Jim has sukoon on top of it. فَأَجْرُهُ. There is qalqala. In the same ayah, the ayah begins with وَجَزَاءُ سَيِّئَةٍ سَيِّئَةٌ مِثْلُهَا. There is a Jim, but we didn't do qalqala, we didn't shake the letter Jim. Whether it has fatha, whether it has dhamma or kasra, zabar, zair or pesh, we're not going to shake it. Only when the letter Jim has sukoon. And sometimes we have 5 letters. Whenever any of those 5 letters happen to have the vowel sukoon, then we must apply qalqala to the letter, we must shake it. Sometimes the letter falls by the end of the word. Any of those 5 letters. which are compiled in two words, قطب جد, قاف طاء باء جيم دال. The قاف طاء باء جيم دال. Any of these 5 letters, only when they have sukoon, we provide them with the shaking of the letter, which is called qalqala. So say فأجره يجتنبون. When we look at the word in ayah number 42, بغير الحق, look at this. ويبغون في الأرض بغير الحق أولئك لهم عذاب أليم. بغير الحق أولئك. There is no qalqala. Why not? Because the word al-haq, the qaf in the word al-haq, بغير الحق, has kasra, بغير الحق. And I apply the kasra, the zir, because I'm reciting continuously. But when I stop, I would say بغير الحق. Did you see that? بغير الحق. So the qalqala happened because the letter qaf gained the sukoon. When did it gain the sukoon? Whenever you stop at the letter, it must have the sukoon, right? No vowel. So in this case, ويبغون في الأرض بغير الحق ويبغون في الأرض بغير الحق أولئك لهم عذاب أليم. Also the word ويبغون. ويبغون. The ba, it is one of the 5 letters. Look at it. It has sukoon. Zoom in, please. It has sukoon. ويبغون. ويبغون. But there is another ba. When we say أولئك لهم عذاب أليم, I don't care about it because it has 2 dhammas. So it is voweled. Only whenever any of these 5 letters, قاف طاء باء جيم دال, happen to have sukoon. طيب, we have Sister Sarah from Egypt, and we'll get back to you inshallah with some more concerning this subject. Sister Sarah, assalamu alaikum, welcome to the program.
Alaikum salam.
Go ahead. Recite from 37, please.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم والذين يجتنبون كبائر الإثم والفواحش وإذا ما غضبوا هم يغفرون والذين استجابوا لربهم وأقاموا الصلاة وأمرهم شورى بينهم ومما رزقناهم ينفقون والذين إذا أصابهم البغي هم ينتصرون وجزاء سيئة مثلها فمن عفا وأصلح فأجره على الله إنه لا يحب الظالمين ولمن انتصر بعد ظلمه فأولئك ما عليهم من سبيل إنما السبيل على الذين يظلمون الناس ويبغون في الأرض بغير الحق أولئك لهم عذاب أليم ولمن صبر وغفر إن ذلك لمن عزم الأمور ومن يضلل الله فما له من ولي من بعده وترى الظالمين لما رأوا العذاب يقولون هل إلى مرد من سبيل.
حسبك, barakallahu fika. Brothers and sisters, we only have a couple minutes left, and Abdurrahman has been away for a while, So I want to hear from him, inshallah, these ayat after the permission of Hassan and Muhammad, inshallah, if you don't mind. Go ahead and recite from ayah number 37, please.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والذين يجتنبون كبائر الإثم والفواحش وإذا ما غضبوا هم يغفرون والذين استجابوا لربهم وأقاموا الصلاة وأمرهم شورى بينهم ومما رزقناهم ينفقون والذين إذا أصابهم البغي هم ينتصرون وجزاء سيئة سيئة مثلها فمن عفا وأصلح فأجره على الله إنه لا يحب الظالمين ولمن انتصر بعد ظلمه فأولئك ما عليهم من سبيل إنما السبيل على الذين يظلمون الناس ويبغون في الأرض بغير الحق أولئك لهم عذاب أليم ولمن صبر وغفر إن ذلك لمن عزم الأمور ومن يضلل الله فما له من ولي من بعده وترى الظالمين لما رأوا العذاب يقولون هل إلى مرد من سبيل.
جزاك الله خيرا. بارك الله فيك. Brothers and sisters, it was a pleasure to present this program today to all of you and also to host our beautiful company, Sheikh Abdul Khaliq, Hassan, Muhammad, and Abdul Rahman. Thank you so much for joining us. By that, we've come to the end of today's edition of your program, Ask Huda. Until next week, I leave you all in the care and the protection of Allah the Almighty. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Sisters, to increase your iman, read the miracle, recite the Qur'an, recite it every day and do read it loud. The verses of Qur'an are all Muslims' pride. This miracle was revealed over a long time span, sent from Allah to an angel then to a man. That man was Muhammad, the best of creation. We were chosen to be part of his nation. He gave us a message, and that was Islam. So read this miracle, recite the Qur'an,